Hello there, welcome back to Max's Cards and Dice Dugout. This is episode 195. And once again, we are at Cleveland Municipal Stadium for game number 2 of the Gaedel Cup Finals. This is the finals following our Oldtimer Kings King of the Hill tournament. And this has the 1954 Cleveland Indians hosting the 1961 Cincinnati Reds. As mentioned, this is game number 2. In game 1, the Reds were cruising along until a 7-run bottom of the 5th inning drove Jim O'Toole from the game. The Indians would go on to win this one 9-6 and lead the series 1-0. So let's get to the starting lineups for this one. First, for the visiting Cincinnati Reds, leading off at second base, Don Blasingame. Batting second at shortstop, Eddie Casco. Batting third, center fielder, Vada Pinson. Batting fourth, Frank Robinson in right field. Batting fifth, left fielder, Wally Post. Batting sixth, third baseman, Gene Freese. Batting seventh, first baseman, Gordy Coleman. Batting eighth, catcher, John Edwards. And on the mound, batting ninth, Joey J. In 1961, he was 21-10 with a 3.53 ERA, 247 innings pitched. He is a number 1 hitting pitcher, so he gets that card inserted to the lineup. The only pitcher not available for the Reds is starter Jim O'Toole. Now for the home team, the 1954 Cleveland Indians, leading off in left field, Al Smith. Batting second baseman, Bobby Avila. Batting third, center fielder, Larry Doby. Batting fourth, third baseman, Al Rosen. Batting fifth, Vic Wertz. He's at first base. Batting sixth, Dave Philly. He's in right. Batting seventh, shortstop, George Strickland. Batting eighth, catcher, Jim Hegan. And on the hill and batting ninth is Early Wynn. In 1954, he was 23-11 with a 2.72 ERA, 271 innings pitched. He's a number 2 hitting pitcher, so he gets that card inserted into the lineup for him. Unavailable for the Indians, as far as pitching staff, is Don Lemon, who started the last game, and Mike Garcia, who pitched quite a few innings in relief. Okay, so we're ready to get underway here. Blasingame steps into the batter's box, and here we go. And Blasingame gets things off to a good start with a leadoff single into left center. So he's at first, nobody out. That brings up Eddie Casco. Pitch from Wynn. And that's a strikeout. Got him looking. And there's one away. So man on first, one out. And center fielder, Vada Pinson. Here's the pitch. This is trouble. Pinson hits this one into left field. Al Smith back. It's off the wall. It rolls away from him. Blasingame round second. Into third. He's being waved home. He scores. And Vada Pinson slides into third base with an RBI triple. And the Reds lead 1-0. So Early Wynn picks up a fatigue point early on here. There's a man on third with one out. And Frank Robinson. Pitch from Wynn. And it is a ground ball to third base. The only play for Al Rosen is to go to first for the second out. The infield was back at normal depth, and that allows Pinson to score. And it's now 2-0 in favor of the Reds, and another fatigue point for Early Wynn. So 2 outs, nobody on, and left fielder Wally Post. Here's the pitch. It's a fly ball to center field. Larry Doby's under that near the track, makes the catch for the final out here in the top of the first. But the Reds pick up 2 runs on 2 hits. No one left on, and 1/2 inning completed. It's the Reds 2 and the Indians coming to bat. And early Wynn has already got 3 fatigue points. So Joey J comes out for the bottom of the first with a 2-run lead. Leading things off for the Indians will be Al Smith. Here's the pitch. That's a fly ball to left field. Wally Post is under that and makes the catch routinely, and there's 1 out. Second baseman Bobby Avila is next. It's a pitch from Jay. And that's a fly ball to right. Frank Robinson has a beat on that one, and there are 2 away. So 2 outs, nobody on for center fielder Larry Doby. Pitch from Joey J. It's a ground ball to short, but it's going to be an X check for Eddie Casco. He's a 2. We roll a 5. And Casco makes a nice backhand play. Fires over to Gordy Coleman. They get Robinson by a half step. And the Indians go 1, 2, 3. No runs, no hits, no one left on. 1 inning complete. And it's the Reds 2 and the Indians nothing. Joey J picks up a fatigue point. So we go to the top of the second, and leading things off for the Reds will be Gene Freese, third baseman. It's a pitch from Wynn. Low and outside. And that's a leadoff walk. Appears that Wynn does not have his best stuff so far in this game. So a man on first, nobody out. And first baseman Gordy Coleman. And he hits a line drive, but right at second baseman Bobby Avila for the first out. They fire over to first, but Freese gets back. And there is 1 away here in the top of the second. That brings up catcher John Edwards. Pitch from Wynn. And that's a 1-out single. Right up the middle. Freese holds at second. Now it's runners on first and second with 1 out. And Joey J comes to the plate. Jay squares to bunt. And it's a ground ball to Wynn. He fires over to third base where they get Freese for the second out. And Jay is unsuccessful with the sacrifice. He reaches first on the fielder's choice, and Edwards moves up to second. So now there's 2 away with a man on second. Excuse me, first and second. And we're back to the top of the order. Second baseman Don Blasingame, who's 1 for 1 with a run scored. Here's the pitch from Wynn. Blasingame gets underneath this one. And Vic Wirtz over near the first base bag is going to catch that for the final out. So no runs, 1 hit, 2 men left. And after 1.5, it's the Reds 2 and the Indians nothing. Early Wynn, fatigue point number 4. Leading things off for the Indians here in the bottom of the second will be third baseman Al Rosen. Pitch from Jay. And this one's in the left center gap. Rosen rounds first, and he slides into second with a leadoff double. First hit for the Indians. And that'll bring up first baseman Vic Wirtz. Pitch from Joey J. It's a fly ball to center. Theta Pinson's there, makes the catch. 1 away as Rosen holds at second. Next up, Dave Philly. Pitch from Jay. It's a ground ball to second. It's going to be an X check for Don Blasingame. He's a 3. We roll a 4. Blasingame's only play is to go to first base for the second out, and that allows Rosen to move to third. So there's a man on third with 2 outs for the Indians, and shortstop George Strickland. Pitch from Jay. And that's into right center. Rosen comes in to score. And the Indians are on the board with a 2-out single from Strickland. And the score is now 2-1. Brings up catcher Jim Hegan. Strickland on first, 2 outs. Pitch from Jay. And that one's into left center for another base hit. Strickland rounds second and slides into third. So now there's runners on the corners with 2 outs and pitcher early Wynn. Reds lead 2-1. Here's the pitch from Jay. It's a ground ball to second base. It's going to be another X check for Don Blasingame. He's a 3. We roll a 13. Another nice play by Blasingame, and they get Wynn at first for the final out. But the Indians do pick up a run. 1 run on 3 hits. 2 men left. We've completed 2, and it's the Reds 2 and the Indians 1. And Joey J actually picks up 2 fatigue points because I forgot to mark 1 down. He's at 3 now. All right, so we go to the top of the third with the score Cincinnati 2, Cleveland 1. Leading things off is shortstop Eddie Casco. Here's the pitch from early Wynn. And that's a leadoff hit for Casco. Ball was lively in this one early on. So he's at first, nobody out, and Veda Pinson. Pitch from Wynn. Ground ball back to Wynn. It's an X check. He's a 2. And we roll a 4. Wynn's only play is to first. They get Pinson on the 1-3 put out. Casco moves up to second. So a man on second with 1 out. And Frank Robinson, who's 0 for 1. Pitch from Wynn. And it's a line drive, but right at second baseman Bobby Avila for out number 2. Casco gets back to second base easily, So a man on second with 2 outs and left fielder Wally Post. Pitch from Wynn. That's a fly ball to center. And Doby's under that near the track. Makes the catch for out number 3. So no runs on 1 hit. 1 man left. We've played 2.5, and it's the Reds 2 and the Indians 1. Early Wynn picks up fatigue point number 5. All right, so it's going to be the top of the order for the Indians here in the bottom of the third. And it's Al Smith who's 0 for 1. He gets under this one. And Gordy Coleman is going to make the catch over at first base. And there's 1 away. Next up, second baseman Bobby Avila. He's also 0 for 1. Pitch from Jay. It's a catcher's card X. John Edwards is a 2. We roll a 15. And that's popped up in foul territory. Edwards off with the mask near the Indians' dugout and makes the catch for out number 2. So 2 outs and nobody on for center fielder Larry Doby. Pitch from Jay. Almost hits him, and that's a 2-out walk. So Doby trots down to first, and that's going to bring up third baseman Al Rosen. Pitch from Jay. And that's a ground ball to first baseman Gordy Coleman, and he's going to take that one unassisted to end the inning. So for the Indians, no runs, no hits, 1 man left. We've played 3, and it's the Reds 2 and the Indians 1. Joey J gets fatigue point number 4. And we go to the top of the 4th, and leading things off for the Reds will be third baseman Gene Freese. He walked his first time up. Pitch from Wynn. It's a fly ball to center. And Larry Doby's there. 1 away. 1 out, nobody on. And first baseman Gordy Coleman. Pitch from Wynn. And that's a strikeout. Got him looking. 2 outs, and that's the second strikeout for early Wynn. And that's going to bring up catcher John Edwards. Edwards is 1 for 1. He's singled back in the second. Here's the pitch from Wynn. And make him 2 for 2. As he gets one past Strickland and into left field. Makes the turn, but he holds it first. So man on first with 2 outs, and Joey J. He reached on a fielder's choice in the second. Here's the pitch from Wynn. It's a ground ball back to Wynn. It's an X check. He's a 2. We roll a 2. And he cannot make a play on that, and it goes into center field. Edwards holds at second. So a 2-out single for Joey J. And now the Reds have runners on first and second. Back to the top of the order in Don Blasingame. Blasingame's 1 for 2. Here's the pitch from Wynn. It's a ground ball to first, and this is another X check. And Vic Wertz is a 4. Let me roll a 10. And Wertz makes a diving stop and tosses to Wynn, covering the bag. And they get Blasingame on the 3-1 put out to end the inning. Nice play by Wertz to prevent a run from scoring. So no runs, 2 hits, 2 men left. After 3.5, it's the Reds 2 and the Indians 1. Fatigue point number 6 for early Wynn. Joey J, who's at 4, is out here for the bottom of the 4th with a 1-run lead. The Reds lead 2-1. And Vic Wertz is the first batter for the Indians. Here's the pitch. And that's a strikeout to start off the inning. First one for Joey J, and there's 1 away. Brings up right fielder Dave Philly. Philly's 0 for 1. Pitch from J. That's a ground ball to shortstop Eddie Casco over to Gordy Coleman. And they get Philly by a step. So 2 up, 2 down. And that brings up shortstop George Strickland. Pitch from Jay. Strickland gets under this one. Gene Freese waves everyone off over at third base. And that's it for the Indians here in the bottom of the 4th. No runs, no hits, no one left. After 4 innings, it's the Reds 2 and the Indians 1. Joey J gets his 5th fatigue point. And leading things off for the Reds here in the top of the 5th is shortstop Eddie Casco. He's 1 for 2. Pitch from Wynn. And it's a ground ball back to Wynn. Jogs over towards first base. Tosses underhand to Vic Wertz. And there's 1 away. Brings up Vada Pinson. Pinson's 1 for 2 with a run scored. Here's the pitch from Wynn. And that one's into the left center gap. Pinson rounds first and slides into second with the 1-out double. So there's a runner on second, 1 out, Frank Robinson. Robinson's 0 for 2 so far. Pitch from Wynn. And he gets under this one. Slams his bat down as George Strickland makes the catch out at shortstop for the 2nd out. So a runner on second with 2 away and left fielder Wally Post. Pitch from Wynn. And that's a ground ball to shortstop Strickland. He fires over to Vic Wertz. And that's it for the Reds here in the top of the 5th. No runs, 1 hit, 1 man left. We've played 4.5, and the score remains the Reds 2 and the Indians 1 here in Game 2 of the Gaedel Cup Finals. So early Wynn picks up fatigue point number 7. And Joey J's going to face Jim Hegan first here in the bottom of the 5th. Pitch from Jay. That's a fly ball to center field. Vada Pinson's got a beat on that. And there's 1 out. That brings up early Wynn. He's 0 for 1. Pitch from Jay. It's a ground ball to short. Casco to Coleman, and there are 2 outs. So 2 outs, nobody on. And we're back to leadoff batter for the Indians, left fielder Al Smith. He's 0 for 2. Pitch from Jay. And that is a 2-out single for Al. He makes the turn, but he's going to hold at first base. That brings up Bobby Avila. Indian shortstop, excuse me, second baseman, not shortstop. All right, pitch from Jay. And that one is off Eddie Casco's glove. That was a tough play for Casco. It scored a base hit. Smith moves to third. And there's runners on the corners now for the Indians with 2 outs. And center fielder Larry Doby. Can Jay get out of this jam? Here's the pitch to Doby. And Doby hits it on the ground. Over to first baseman Gordy Coleman, and he's going to take that unassisted. And he gets Joey J out of the jam. And the Indians, no runs on 2 hits, 2 men left. And after 5 innings complete, the score remains the Reds 2 and the Indians 1. 6 fatigue points for Joey J. As we go to the top of the 6th. And leading things off is third baseman Gene Freese. Pitch from Wynn. That's a fly ball to center. Larry Doby is under that, makes the catch. And there's 1 away. Next up, Gordy Coleman. Coleman is 0 for 2. Pitch from Wynn. And this one is going to stay in the infield. And Bobby Avila's waving everyone off, makes the catch, and it looks like Coleman has a little bit of problem out there. And the trainer's coming out to check him. And he is going to have to leave this game. Bad news for the Reds. And he will be unavailable for the remainder of this game and Game 3 of the finals. All right. So, going to have to make a change here for the Reds. And we have very short benches in these with these old-timer cards. We're going to have to do a little shuffling around. Let's see. So Frank Robinson is going to move to first base. And that makes him a 3 defensively. And entering the game for Coleman will be Gus Bell, utility outfielder. And he is a 2 in right field. So Bell into the game for Coleman. He's going to go to right field, and he's a 2. All right, so we got that straightened out. Bad luck for Gordy Coleman. And another fatigue point for early Wynn. That puts him at 8. Joey J, who's at 6. As we go to the bottom of the 6th. So anyway, forgot to mark. Oh, excuse me. No. That's not right. We still have another out to resolve. I apologize for that. Don't want to short the Reds a batter here. So it's John Edwards, the catcher. Pitch from Wynn. And that's a strikeout. Strikeout number 3. Edwards was way ahead of that one. So no runs, no hits, no one left for the Reds in the top of the 6th. I already gave early Wynn his fatigue point. But after 5.5, score remains the Reds 2 and the Indians 1. Now Joey J comes back out. And leading things off for the Indians will be third baseman Al Rosen, who is 1 for 2. Here's the pitch. And that's a ground ball to third base. Gene Freese to Frank Robinson for the first out. So 1 out, no one on. And first baseman Vic Wertz. Pitch. This one stays in the infield. Don Blasingame waves off Eddie Casco and makes the catch for out number 2. So 2 outs, nobody on, and right fielder Dave Philly, who's 0 for 2. Pitch from Joey J. That's a fly ball to left. Wally Post makes the catch. And the Indians go 1, 2, 3. No runs, no hits, no one left on. After 6 innings, the score remains the Reds 2 and the Indians 1. Joey J gets fatigue point number 7. Early Wynn, who is at 8. Now, that doesn't sound right. 6, 8. 6, 7. Yeah, I guess it is right. All right, so he's going to be facing his counterpart, Joey J, who's 1 for 2. He's reached base twice. Pitch from Wynn. Hey, strikeout. Strikeout number 4 for early. And there's 1 away here in the top of the 7th. Back to the top of the order for the Reds and Don Blasingame. He is 1 for 3. Pitch from Wynn. It's a ground ball to short. And it's going to be an X check for George Strickland. He's a 2. And we roll a 10. Oh, and that's off Strickland's glove and trickles into left field. Blasingame rounds first and heads into second with a 2-base error committed by George Strickland. So there's a man on first with 1 away. And that brings up Eddie Casco. Pitch. Another X check for shortstop George Strickland. He's a 2. We roll an 8. And Strickland makes a nice play, but his only play is to first base, where they get Casco for the second out, but that allows Blasingame to move up to third. So there's a man on third with 2 away, and center fielder Veda Pinson. Pinson's 2 for 3. Here's the pitch. And that's a line drive, but right at second baseman Bobby Avila for the final out. Nice play by Avila to prevent another run for the Reds. And that's it for Cincinnati here in the top of the 7th. No runs, no hits, 1 man left. And as we get ready to stretch them, the score remains the Reds 2 and the Indians 1. Early Wynn gets fatigue point number 9. All right. Okay, Joey J out here for the bottom of the 7th with a 1-run lead. And leading things off will be George Strickland, Indian shortstop. Strickland is 1 for 2. Here's the pitch. And he gets under this one. Eddie Casco makes the catch at short. And there's 1 away. That brings up Jim Hegan. And there is some activity in the Indians bullpen. And it's Don Mossy warming up. So I don't expect we'll see early Wynn bat here. But first we got Jim Hegan. He's 1 for 2. There's 1 out, nobody on. Pitch from Jay. That's a strikeout. Gets Hagan looking. He's not happy with that call. That's strikeout number 2 for Joey J. And there are 2 outs. And as mentioned, early Wednesday is going to be done here. And Sam Dente is going to pinch hit. Don Mossy will be the pitcher for the Indians in the top of the 8th. So Dente pinch hits here in the bottom of the 7th with 2 outs. All right. Pitch from Jay. And that's another strikeout to end the inning. Strikeout number 3 for Jay. And the Indians go 1-2-3 again. No runs, no hits, no 1 left. We've completed 7. And it is still the Reds 2 and the Indians 1. Joey J gets fatigue point number 8. As mentioned, early Wednesday is done. And the new pitcher for the Indians is Don Mossy. In 1954, he was 6-1 with a 1.94 ERA, 93 innings pitched. He's listed as a relief starter for the Indians here. Leading things off for the Reds will be Frank Robinson. Here's the pitch from Mossy. That's a ground ball back to Mossy. Jogs towards first base. And he tosses to Vic Wirtz for the first out. I'm going to get that in here. And Mossy. All right, so 1 out, no one on. And Wally Post. Post is 0 for 3. Pitch from Mossy. And that's a line drive, but right at third baseman Al Rosen. And there are 2 away. So 2 outs, nobody on for Gene Freeze. Pitch from Mossy. And Freeze gets under that. And Bobby Avila is going to make the catch out at second base for the final out of the top of the 8th. So now the Reds go 1-2-3. No runs, no hits, no one left. After 7.5, the score still remains. The Reds 2 and the Indians 1. Mossy picks up his first fatigue point. And leading things off for the Indians, back to the top of the order here in the bottom of the 8th, and it's Al Smith. Pitch from Joey J. And that's a strikeout. Strikeout number 4 for Jay. And there's 1 out here in the bottom of the 8th. It brings up Bobby Avila. Avila's 1 for 3. Pitch from Jay. It's a fly ball to center field. It's going to be an X check for Veda Pinson. He's a 2. We roll a 3. And it's off the heel of Pinson's glove. Avila rounds first and heads into second on the E8. 2-base error. Both teams have committed an error now. My. So the Indians have the tying run in scoring position with 1 out here in the bottom of the 8th. And Larry Doby. Pitch from Jay. Way outside. And now the go-ahead run trots down to first base. There's runners on first and second with 1 out, and Al Rosen comes to the plate. Rosen's 1 for 3. Pitch from Jay. And this game may be tied here, because Rosen hits one right up the middle. Pinson fields it, and Avila is going to be waved around home. Let's check his running. He's a 1-13. Throw to home plate, and they get they get Avila trying to score. Nice throw by Veda Pinson for out number 2. But the runners move up 90 feet. Doby goes to third, Rosen to second. Nice play by Veda Pinson. Nice throw and nice tag applied by John Edwards. All right, so now it's second and third with 2 outs. It's the first real excitement we've had in this game for a while. So Vic Wirtz, who's 0 for 3, is going to try to at least get this game tied, if not give the Indians a lead. Here's the pitch from Jay. And it's a fly ball to center field. Sends Veda Pinson back to the track, to the wall, where he makes the catch for the final out here in the bottom of the 8th. So no runs on 1 hit, 2 men left on, and after 8 innings completed, it's the Reds 2 and the Indians 1. Joey J gets fatigue point number 9. Don Mossy trying to keep this a 1-run game. Give his team a chance in the bottom of the 9th. He's going to face Gus Bell. Oh, I forgot to write his name in here. He's in for the injured Gordy Coleman. And here's the pitch from Mossy. It's a ground ball to second base. It's going to be an X check for Bobby Avila. He's a 3. We roll a 3. And that's a leadoff single for Gus Bell. So he's on first, nobody out. John Edwards. And now there's some activity in the Reds bullpen. And it is Bill Henry warming up. So I don't expect we'll see Joey J bat either here in the top of the ninth. All right, so man on first, nobody out. Catcher John Edwards, pitch from Mossy. And Edwards gets under that. Hegan's off with the mask and makes the catch in foul territory for the first out. So you got Bell at first base, and the pitcher spot comes up, and Joey J is being called back to the dugout. And Jerry Lynch is going to be the pinch hitter. As mentioned, Bill Henry is warming up for the Reds and will pitch in the bottom of the ninth. So Jerry Lynch is going to pinch hit for Jay. All right. Pitch from Mossy. And Lynch gets a hold of this one. It goes to left field, sending Al Smith back to the track, to the wall. It's way up, out of here, gone. A one-out pinch hit, two-run home run for Jerry Lynch. And it is now a 4-1 lead for the Reds. My. 2 fatigue points for Don Mossy. Jerry Lynch delivers. So now it's 4-1 in favor of the Reds, and the Reds are looking to take this series back to Cincinnati with the home field advantage for the Indians erased. All right, 4-1. 1 out, no one on. Top of the order, Don Blasingame. Here's the pitch. And this is a drive to deep left field. Al Smith back to the track, to the wall, where he makes the catch for out number 2. That was almost back-to-back homers. All right, so 2 outs. Nobody on. And Eddie Casco, pitch from Mossy. And it's a line drive, but right at third baseman Al Rosen for the final out. But the Reds pick up some insurance. 2 runs on 2 hits. One of those hits was Jerry Lynch's pinch hit home run. And after 8.5, the score is now the Reds 4 and the Indians 1. Don Mossy will pick up another fatigue point, which puts him at 4. And leading things off for the Indians here in the bottom of the ninth will be Dave Philly, the right fielder. New pitcher for the Reds is Bill Henry. In 1961, he was 2-1 with a 2.21 ERA, 53 innings pitched. He's out here to get the save for Joey J. All right. Philly's in the batter's box. Here's the pitch from Henry. That's a line drive, but right at first baseman Frank Robinson, and he flashes the leather. My goodness, you have to excuse me. I do stutter from time to time. Okay. So 1 out, nobody on, and shortstop George Strickland. Pitch from Henry. And Strickland gets underneath this one. Eddie Casco makes the catch out at his shortstop position for the second out. And this crowd is silent. Indians are down to their last out. There's no one on. They trail 4-1. And Bill Henry is going to pitch to Jim Hegan. Here it comes. It's not over yet because Hegan comes through with a 2-out single. And now we're going to have to get another pinch hitter. Ray Narleski is warming up for the Indians if necessary. And Wally Westlake is going to pinch hit for Don Mossy. There's a man on first with 2 outs. And Westlake's trying to keep this alive, get things back to the top of the order, and see if the Indians can stage a desperate comeback. Here's the pitch from Henry. That's a ground ball to short. Eddie Casco, routine play over to Frank Robinson. And this one is in the books. The Reds win it 4-2. Let's get some totals. The Reds, 4 runs on 9 hits. They committed 1 error. The Indians, 2 runs on 6 hits. They also committed 1 error. Winning pitcher is Joey J. I didn't put Bill Henry's name down, but he gets the save, and the loss goes to Early Wynn. And this series is tied 1 game apiece. Game 3, 4, and 5 will games 3, 4, and 5 will all be in Cincinnati as this series continues. So if you hung out with me till the end, I appreciate it, and I'll be back again in the near future with another video. And until then, take care.